From October 23rd, 2019, here is CM Punk.
Hey, CM Punk, what's up, man?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm good. So my name is JP. Thanks for coming in. Happy to be the caboose on this tour.
I'm happy you're the caboose, too. It's a nice caboose.
It's not bad. Thank you. My wife says the same thing. So so I'm from Chicago as well. I moved here to Colorado Springs about a year and a half ago. And I do want to talk about your movie because I watched it last night. It was pretty awesome. So I definitely have some questions about that. But I want to ask you, as a Chicago guy, when you're on the road traveling, tours, and even back in the wrestling days, what's your go-to food? Because I get Portillo's withdrawals all the time over here.
I mean, my go-to food on the road when I was a wrestler.
What'd you miss from Chicago?
More often than not, I'd have to eat at a gas station, so I'd be eating like cashews and beef jerky. It was rotten.
What was the Chicago food you missed a lot on the road?
Pizza. Yeah, I mean, it's a staple. It's kind of a boring answer, but the pizza's not boring.
No, it's not. Lou Malnati's was my favorite. So
yes, sir.
Awesome. I watched your movie last night, Girl on the Third Floor. It was creepy. It was fun. I definitely dug it. Got a lot of Bruce Campbell vibes. Was that intentional?
I think that was a happy accident, but I love hearing that. It tells me that I did something right. We weren't set out to try to emulate Bruce. I just think the subject matter was akin to like an Evil Dead house renovation sort of movie. So like I said, happy accident.
Yeah, like when you opened the door to the house for the first time, and because I think it was like kind of like a polo, kind of a not your typical gear, right? And it was like, and you were clean shaven. And I'm like, holy crap. That first thing I thought of was Ash.
That's great. Well, as long as you didn't look at it and say, oh, CM Punk, I think we did our job.
No, not at all, man. I definitely dug it. My wife dug it, too. So obviously, we're a classic rock station. I know your music's a little heavier. Got any go-to classic rock songs?
Ooh, gosh. I mean, what's classic rock nowadays? Pearl Jam's considered classic rock nowadays, isn't it?
That's like the daily question I get is when I play Pearl Jam or Green Day or Foo Fighters, and I'm like, hey, man, that stuff's 25 years old.
You play Green Day? Green Day's classic rock now?
I know. It's weird. I honestly,
my gosh.
Here's what's weird. Like, we'll play a Green Day song, but like we won't play Weezer. And we'll play Foo Fighters and Nirvana, but like we won't play Offspring. It's just a weird kind of...
Yeah.
We're trying to find our way. In a strange way, we're phasing out the 60s stuff. So, like, even though I love the Beatles, a lot of that's getting phased out with CCR because of the age group. And then
to me, classic rock is the rock and roll that was on the radio when I was like 8 and 10 years old. So it's like Led Zeppelin, stuff like that.
Yeah, and we still got all that. So, like, the 70s is still a big part of it. So, like, for every 60s songs we phase out, we bring in a 90s song with it. Just kind of weird. JP 98.1 KKFM. I'm excited because not only is it my birthday today, not a radio bit, true story, but I've got one of my favorite pro wrestlers of all time, CM Punk, on the line with me. Thanks for coming on, CM Punk.
Well, gosh darn, happy birthday.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. By the way, I was at Money in the Bank when you beat Cena. I was there.
Wow.
It was amazing. The crowd was nuts. I mean,
yes, they were.
It was, I can't even say what we were saying. It was blank you, Cena. And then it was CM Punk, like in the other side of the chant. Your brand new movie, Girl on the Third Floor, in theaters and digital platforms on Friday. Let me ask you a question about acting. So you're going from wrestling to acting. It's been done before. The Rock in these huge blockbusters. And then you have the other end of the spectrum. You have Hulk Hogan, I don't know, Suburban Commando, No Holds Barred. Are you looking to find your niche somewhere in between there?
I mean, I think I found my niche. I think horror is a niche that has not been really tackled by, a lot of people. And it's right up my alley because I'm such a horror fan. So, they tell you don't do too many horror movies; you'll get typecast. But I mean, I'm literally like, well, what's wrong with that? As long as the roles are challenging and it's quality, I don't really care what genre of film it is.
Yeah, and if you're into it, you're into it. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, there's that debate. I read something the other day with like Scorsese ripping on Marvel films. It's like, you know what? Do what you want to do. That's the main thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, just like I'm entitled to mine. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, his opinion on Marvel films doesn't affect my pleasure of viewing them.
Exactly. Same here. And I love his movies too, but it's like, Did you see Joker, by the way?
I did.
What'd you think?
I loved it. I loved it. There's a couple, 2-3 things I can nitpick, but what a fantastic performance by Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh my God, I want to get his laugh as like a soundbite and like use that when people are talking on the air.
Yeah, so good.
On the movie side of things, I'm not going to ask you about wrestling because I mean, maybe one day, maybe not. But on the movie side of things, what's next for you?
Rabid. I shot 2 movies back to back last year. around this time. And The Girl on the Third Floor is coming out on the 25th, video on demand and in select theaters. And then Rabid, a Saska Sisters production, which is it's like a re-imaging of a Cronenberg film, Rabid. That comes out in December.
Nice. That's awesome. So I do have to ask you one wrestling question. So you've had a ton of matches, and I followed you, from way back when. I mean, I probably was at some of the same ECW shows as you at the Odeum in Villa Park if you were watching any of those. So,
wow.
So what is, I mean, I know it's crazy to say a favorite match, but favorite performer to work with?
Oh, boy. Rey Mysterio. Cena's up there, too. Guys that wouldn't try to cornea in catering and try to map out a match A to Z. And those are the top two for me.
That's awesome.
Both those guys, I think today, if I step foot in a ring right now, I could have a really good quality storytelling session with both those guys without talking about it.
Yeah, those were great. I remember those feuds. You and Jeff Hardy was always good for me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I mean, anytime I get Jericho in the ring, I mean, that's always, he's one of my other favorites. So you've been checking out AEW at all?
I have not. No, I haven't watched wrestling in quite some time. But I think, you're kind of always aware of what's going on because of social media and stuff like that. So I hear those guys are doing really well.
It's crazy. Like, it's the first time a non-WWE company has made me have must-see viewing every week.
Good.
And it's like pay-per-view matches on normal TV. I was shocked. So I wish nothing but the best for him. So.
Yeah, I do too.
Cool, man. CM Punk, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. Definitely go check out his brand new movie, Girl on the Third Floor, this Friday. Theaters, digital platforms. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.